You ever read something from an expert and get that feeling like there's a secret message hiding just under the surface? Well, you're not wrong. There is. It's this subtle code that shows you exactly how confident they are in what they're saying. And today, we're going to crack that code together. All right, so to get started, let's look at a question that's probably on a lot of our minds right now. How much should we really worry about AI's impact on our writing skills? Just take a second, think about how you'd answer that. Got it? Okay, now let's see how a few experts approach this exact same question. Okay, listen to the words they use here. It is reasonable to imagine, may ultimately experience, we may not achieve. See that? That's not just fancy writing, it's totally intentional. The authors are picking their words so carefully to show you exactly how certain or, uncertain they are. This is the code. And here's our game plan for cracking this thing wide open. First, we'll decode the language itself. Then we'll look at the two main tools writers use, what I call the certainty dial. We'll see it in action across a bunch of different fields, see how it's used to build a whole argument, and finally show you how to make this your own communication superpower. So let's dig in. What exactly is this hidden layer of communication? Well, it's basically where authors become your guide. They use these little word signals to tell you what's a proven fact, what's more of a cautious suggestion, and maybe most importantly, what they really want you to walk away with. So how do they actually do it? Well, they have these two key tools that work kind of like a certainty dial. They can crank their confidence way up, or they can dial it way down. And these tools have names: hedging and boosting. Let's start with hedging. This is what an author does when they want to be careful, not overstate their case. They'll use words like may, might, could, or phrases like it seems to suggest, or it's possible that. It's all about being honest and showing you, hey, this isn't a 100% solid fact, it's a possibility. And on the flip side, you've got boosting. This is when they turn that dial all the way up to 11. Authors use words like clearly, proves, demonstrates, or phrases like strongly associated with. This is them telling you, listen up, I am very confident about this. It's how they convince you that a conclusion is rock solid. So let's just put these side by side. On one side, you've got hedging. Its job is to soften a claim, to show caution. Think may or suggests. On the other side, you have boosting. Its job is to strengthen a claim, to show confidence. Think clearly or proves. Honestly, this is the fundamental toolkit, and I promise once you start seeing it, you'll see it absolutely everywhere. And get this isn't some niche academic trick. It's a universal language used by experts in pretty much every field. So let's take a quick tour and see how this certainty dial gets used out in the wild. First stop, biology. We're looking at a research paper on animal behavior. Now, this is a field where things are super complex, right? New discoveries are always popping up, so you have to be incredibly careful with your conclusions. Just look at all the hedging going on here. It is difficult to conclude. It might be possible. The author is practically shouting, be cautious. They're telling us the evidence is pretty limited, so we shouldn't be jumping to any big conclusions. This is what scientific integrity looks like in writing. Okay, next up, economics. In this field, writers are often dealing with these complex models that have huge real-world consequences, so their language has to walk this fine line between theory and all the uncertainty of real life. Here you can see a really interesting mix: possibility and could potentially. That's hedging. They're admitting there are potential downsides, but then look at the shift. It appears then. The author is gently guiding us toward a conclusion without stating it like it's an absolute, undeniable fact. And for our final stop, let's jump over to psychology. Now, in this example, the author isn't starting from scratch. They're building on a whole foundation of previously published and accepted research. Let's see how that changes the language they use. Whoa, see the difference? Has been shown, and clearly. That's all boosting. The author is basically standing on the shoulders of giants here, building on prior work, so they can turn that certainty dial way up. They're signaling to us that these points are well established and, in this conversation, not really up for debate. Okay, so here's the really cool part. This isn't just about individual words or sentences. Authors use this certainty dial to build their entire argument. It's like they're an architect, guiding you through a structure they've built, moving from solid facts to more speculative ideas. And this right here shows the typical flow perfectly.
An argument often kicks off with super high certainty. That's when they're reviewing the existing evidence. Then it moves to a medium level of certainty when they start to evaluate that evidence. And finally, it drops to low certainty when they recommend what to do next. Because, the future is always uncertain, right?
So here's what step 1 looks like. As demonstrated and strongly associated. That's pure boosting. The author is laying down a solid foundation of facts. They're presenting this as reliable, solid evidence from a survey they're referencing.
Now let's jump to step 3 and see the contrast. When it's time to suggest what to do about it, the language gets super hedged. Such measures might take the form of, the author isn't saying this is the only way. No, they're carefully proposing one possibility based on all the evidence they just laid out for you.
So why does any of this matter? What's the big takeaway? Well, because cracking this code isn't just some fun little academic exercise. It is a genuine communication superpower that you can start using every single day, whether you're reading an article online or just writing an email to your boss. Think about what this means for you. You can now read way more critically, right? You can instantly tell the difference between a hard fact and someone's cautious guess. You can make your own writing so much more precise and persuasive just by consciously dialing your certainty up or down. You haven't just learned a new trick, you've learned the secret code.
So we'll leave you with this question. Now that you know the code, what are you going to read differently? The next time you pick up a news article, a business report, anything from an expert, pay attention to that certainty dial. You are going to be amazed at the hidden messages you start to find.